Sure. Wait,
Okay.
wait. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I am watching.
Okay, so basically, the first thing that you have to consider when taking a photo, right, is aperture. And then it's your shutter speed, and then your ISO. Today, we're going to talk about aperture. So, aperture is the opening of your camera lens, basically. So, this is aperture. So, f1.8 is the largest aperture that you can select. So the unit that they use is f dash. So if it's f dash 1.8, you see the opening diameter is like super big. What does that mean? That means there's more light hitting the camera sensor because the opening is bigger, right? You got that?
So what's the 1.8?
It's just a
What does
way
the number
they like
say?
measure it. So it's
Yeah. Does it have a meaning?
yes, it does. So f dash is the focal length over the aperture. Um so the opening is equals to the focal length. So let's just say focal length of 35 millimeters. That's like the zoom on your camera. You do 35 over let's just say what like over 1.8, right? So it'll be 35 millimeters divided by 1.8. 35 divided by 1.8 gives you the actual opening of your camera lens in millimeters, right? That's what they mean, basically. Yeah, that's what they mean by f dash. Okay, so it's kind of like a scale. You can think of it like that, but to put it simply, the smaller the f number, the bigger the opening of the lens and more light there is. Okay, you got that?
Yeah.
Okay, so more light,
Wait.
bigger opening.
What?
And there's also more bokeh, which is the background blur. TB,
Bouquet.
you got that? When
Bouquet.
Okay, applied.
bokeh, yeah, B
Okay,
O K
applied.
E H. It's just blur
Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
Wait, hold
What's
up.
the origin of this word, man?
Corrections. Lower the f number, more brightness, and then higher the f number. The higher the f number, less light. Okay, smaller opening and less bokeh. Sorry, what are you asking?
What does bouquet mean?
Bokeh is just another word for blur.
What's the origin of the word?
I'm not sure. You gotta search Google for that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just show you the differences, right? So,
You're asking while
uh,
knowing, or you're just asking?
so this is
Hmm? I
f1.8.
don't know. I'm just asking.
This is f1.8, PP. So you see
Sounds
how
like
like the
not
background is blurry,
English.
PP. PP.
Hmm.
You see how the background
Yeah.
is like blurry? Yeah, that's more bokeh, more blur. Okay, but this is f6.3. This is a smaller opening. It makes everything in the photo clearer, less bokeh. See how the background is
Okay.
clearer than this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's basically how it works. So the higher the f number, less light you're getting, and more of the frame in focus. So like
Okay.
you have like your picture frame, like there's a person. On f1.8, only the person will be in focus, okay? Only the person. The background is blurry. but on like a higher f number, the person is in focus as well as a background. Okay, you understand that? So when you're taking a group photo, what do you think we should use? Higher f or lower f?
So we want like I think the group photo is like everyone's basically in the background. So you want not blur background.
Yep.
So less bokeh. So high F.
Yep. Correct. You
So
need
no
a higher
small
f
opening.
number. Small opening. What problems does that cause? Okay. More clarity
Less
equals
light.
less light. Okay. So a lot of a common way that photographers fix this is by putting their camera on a tripod. Okay. Why? Because then we can increase the exposure time, lower the shutter speed, right? So having the camera sensor being exposed to more light in a period of time. So let's just say we use like an aperture of f22, okay? Very small opening. This is the size of the opening. Teeny tiny, right? Teeny tiny. So it makes the photo super dark. We can fix this by using a shutter speed of 1 over 20, alright? 1 over 20. Maybe ISO like 200. Okay. But the problem with this is that the shutter speed is a bit too low. 1 over 20 is pretty slow. And although it gives us the exposure we want, when people move or blink, it's going to be really annoying. So the way we can fix this is by using more ISO. So f22 the same. And when taking group photos,
Wait, so what's the ISO? I
sorry,
don't
what?
get the ISO.
ISO is
Well,
this
I don't get the ISO.
integrated or digital brightness. I taught this with Jackie, but haven't taught it to you.
Okay.
I'll explain
Well,
that
then I
later.
don't know.
I'll explain that
Okay.
later. Okay. Shutter speed. I generally use that higher shutter speed because people move around. People have ADHD and they blink, scratch their hand, their arms, whatever. So the shutter speed I normally use is like 1 over 60 and above. Right. Okay. So now the photo is hella dark. So we fix this by using our digital lighting, I call it. So we increase the ISO, right, to like 1,600, which is fine because it's daytime outside, so using that ISO should be fine. So yeah, that's basically aperture. So lower f number, bigger opening, more brightness, and more bokeh. So the opening width can be calculated by the focal length over the aperture, the f number. All right. So now we're gonna move on to shutter speed, because well, actually, I think you kind of understood it there.
Yeah, I think I understand shutter speed. Shutter speed's fine.
So, a slower shutter speed is more time, basically, that the sensor is being exposed to sunlight or whatever light there is. So, slower is in
What's the
seconds.
range? How much do we normally go up to
I
and
can,
stuff?
I'll tell you that. Okay. Um, like it depends how fast it can go. Depends on the camera, like how new the camera is. But I think on my camera it's like 1 over. Shit, I forgot. I think it's like 1 over 3,200. And the slowest I think was 10 seconds or something. I don't remember. But basically, right? I think you get it. So slower, it opens the little shutter and lets light in to contact the sensor, right? So it makes the photo brighter. But in the same time, it makes things blurrier when they're moving. You get it? Yeah. So generally, if it's like nighttime and you're taking photos at the club, I'd say 1/60, which is pretty slow, and you might get some blurry photos. But I fix this by using a faster speed. So like taking multiple photos like quickly in quick succession. You know what I mean, right? Like you spam it basically. So you take many photos and you pick out the one that's not blurry, right? So this is for night photography of like general events. Okay.
Mm.
And if it's daytime and it's very bright outside, you can easily use like 1/200. Or if you wanna have some to spare, then 1/160 should be fine.
What's the
But
unit on this? Second, right?
yeah, 1/160 seconds. Yeah.
Um, you mean? Oh, okay. Yeah, one
Yeah.
over. So, okay.
It's
So
like
point something seconds.
yeah. It's like not point blah blah blah. Okay.
What's the speed of someone blinking?
So what?
What's the speed of someone blinking? Do you know?
I'm actually not sure about that. Never thought of it like that. Yeah, so this is daytime photography. Like daytime to prevent like any blurs and people moving around. It's for daytime. But it doesn't go the same for every camera. Like if you have an older camera, like there's very less brightness. Like if you push the ISO or you try to like push the shutter speed, it becomes very dark. So on older cameras, you have to use 1/60, even though it's daytime. You gotta watch out for that. But we're just gonna talk about like modern cameras and like you know modern gear because too less complicated. All right. So okay, for car photography, 1/200 and above. Okay. This also applies to sport like football, where it's like fast paced, where there's people running. Right. 1/200
I
and
think that
above.
depends on the speed of like the
Yeah,
maximum speed is whatever you're trying to
it really
measure or
depends. If
measure.
it's like super professional, then you gotta step it up because obviously they're gonna be faster. There's gonna be more action going on, right? Right.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
for aircraft or aviation, you use like 1/640 for propeller aircraft. But uh, for for jets and stuff, you should do a higher shutter speed. So like 1/1000 and above. Okay. You know why?
Because they're fast.
For the propeller one, why is it less than the jet one?
Oh, um, something about the propeller like realigning itself on the
Yes, that's
camera.
correct. So if you use a super high shutter speed on a photo of a propeller aircraft, the the fans will become stationary, which we don't want because that's ugly. It doesn't look like it's live. Okay? Like the fans
Yep.
will be stationary and it looks unnatural. So we use a slower shutter speed on propeller aircraft. Um, that's basically it. So it kind of depends, but a general rule is that you don't go lower than 1/60 unless you're going for that effect. That effect that I mean is star trails, they call it. Okay, star trails. So you put your camera on a tripod, right? And you have like you're taking a photo of a street, okay? and there's cars passing. There's cars just passing. Okay. You see those cars there on the street? Yeah. If you
Hmm.
do a super slow shutter speed, let's just say like 20 seconds, alright? What you're doing is
Oh,
that you're capturing the motion
the
in 20
lights.
seconds.
Yeah.
But one problem with a super slow shutter speed is that your your photo becomes overexposed. So the way we fix that is by using a super high aperture. So let's say f22 at nighttime. Okay, like f22 makes it super duper dark, as well as the nighttime that the photo is set in. But we're fixing that by using a super slow shutter speed. So this increases the brightness a lot. Okay, and this one decreases the brightness a lot too.
Hmm.
So they kind of go against each other. And when you're taking a photo, you gotta consider these three things, as well as your ISO. Sorry. So let's just say like right now the photo is like okay, but we want it to be slightly brighter, so we use like ISO 200. Okay, to balance it out. All right. So it's kind of like this thing, this thing right here can make it brighter or less bright. This thing also has an effect on the brightness. So you have to consider them all, these three factors, to make the photo look the way you intend it to. You get it?
Yep.
Yeah, ISO is just digital lighting. I already taught this with Jackie, and I'm not bothered to teach it again. So
Wow.
more bright, less bright, depending on what you want. Um, yeah. So the only case that you'd go to 1 second or 20 seconds for a photo is star trails. Yep.
If it's very dark.
Sorry, what?
If it's very dark,
If it's
maybe.
very dark, then in that case you might need to use a flash. Or if you're taking photos of people at night, you do need to use a flash. Yeah. If it's like formal photos at night, you have to use a flash. Yeah. Basically it for aperture
Yeah.
and shutter speed. Alright, thank you. I'll leave the slides in the description. Okay.